You are now entering another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of critical thinking. A journey to a wondrous land with boundaries that of clarification. Your next stop, the Sanity Zone.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
So, you're a philosopher?
Yes. 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 I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Overweight doubles in the house. The house. The overweight doubles in the house. The house. The overweight doubles in the house. Doubles in the house. Doubles in the house.
All right. You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave. Breaking the news in half with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave. Said that already. On WNHHLP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. All right. I have a lot to get to. I haven't done a show in a week. Right? I think my last show was last Monday. Or last Tuesday. So let's get into it, because I like to start my show with conversations that I've had around the office. And the conversations have been heavy these last few weeks, right? Because you have the Democrats who wanted to pass a resolution against anti-Semitism, specifically against Representative Congressman or Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, right? And the Democrats managed to fumble that ball. All they had to do was say she needs to stop being anti-Semitic. She said anti-Semitic things and that she needs to stop. But in the beginning of their resolution, when they were putting it together, Nancy Pelosi was strong. You know, she was saying that her and other leaders of the Democrats were saying that she had crossed the line with her anti-Semitic tropes, her tweets, and all this stuff, right? And then by Friday of last week, they didn't want to mention her name. They were afraid of mentioning her name. They didn't want to target her. So here in the office, we've had plenty of conversations, right? Because I won't name names, but we have people who pass through here, people who work here. There's many people I speak to. This is a very busy environment, you know, so, and I get to speak to different Democrats or socialists or independents who are really socialists or communists. Yeah, I get all of that here in New Haven. Isn't it a wonderful town? Right? So, in talking to all of these people, and I know I'm hearing their voices saying, now don't talk about this on the radio. I don't want nobody just trying to figure out who it is that's talking and trying to attach me to these statements. And I go, but what if somebody did figure out it was you making these ridiculous statements? I mean, it would be you. See, Democrats really are, who liberals, who progressives really are. You never get to see them in public. And that's what's so different about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar, and the other one is Tlaib. Representative Tlaib. That's what's so different about these three new young congresswomen. Or young, relatively young Congress people. Right? Because they just say whatever they're thinking. They don't have the filter that normal Democrats have. Right? Because they come from this privileged generation. I guess they're Generation X's, right? Generation X or Generation C. These people who haven't learned how to filter because they've been too lazy. They've been too spoiled. So they've never learned how to do that conversational filter where they withdraw some of the words that are being thought before it ever comes out your mouth. Right? So anyway, so that's what makes these three different. But so the people that I've spoken to in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, they're like, I don't understand why we're targeting Ilhan Omar. I mean, she's just not my words, she's just a woman, a young woman who's finding her way. I'm like, look, that's sexist, but whatever. Because most of the women I know, you know, they know exactly where they are and where they're going. So, but this is the excuse that people are making for her, right? And it's like, so what? She said something, she didn't really mean it. Oh, wait a minute. Do words matter only for the Republicans? Or do they also matter for the Democrats who are just finding their way? Or, I didn't really mean this, but I've done it 3 times already. I've gotten in trouble 3 times. I've had to apologize already 3 times. So what is it? Do the Republicans only have rules? Do the Republicans only have to be the ones who watch what they say? You know, this anti-Semitism coming from the Democrats. And I was telling somebody this morning, you know, I'm afraid of what the Democrat Party is turning into because they're incorporating all of these liberal progressive beliefs. They're trying to be a big tent. But sometimes you have to throw people out your tent. You don't necessarily have to have all of these people in the tent. You're letting arsonists into the tent and they're going to burn your whole party down. So anyway, so I've had people defending Ilhan Omar, saying they like Ilhan Omar, saying they agree with Ilhan Omar. So think about that, right? Obvious anti-Semite, but the liberals just want to agree. And then you think about what she says and going into her past, her tweets, or Tlaib, the other congresswoman who is good friends with Farrakhan, you know, and hasn't denounced the stuff that Farrakhan has said against the Jewish people and so on. And then you have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who puts her arms around both of them and say, just let them say whatever they want to say. Nobody, you know, so it's like their youth, their exuberance is going to be, or is what's getting them in trouble because they don't know how to filter. But the people here aren't young children, aren't youth. They know better. But I've heard people, not necessarily from here, but people who've come by, who are frequent visitors, actually be upset. I remember when Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem and named Jerusalem the capital, right? Or declared Jerusalem the capital, right? I remember Democrats or liberals or progressive, whatever they want to be labeled. I remember them saying them being upset that more Palestinians weren't killed at the border. That more Palestinians, you remember the uprising that took place at the time because people were against America moving its embassy to Jerusalem. And I remember these liberals, these so-called bleeding hearts, actually being disappointed that there wasn't more death, especially the children. What they really wanted to see was the children, more dead children, because that would have had an effect on Trump and Israel for moving that embassy. That would have sent more of a message if there were more deaths on the other side. Yeah, look, from the lips of people you would think are, well, that you would know that they're progressive. They have this bleeding heart. They want to help people. They were telling me that during the government shutdown, people were dying on the streets. They were suffering. These hypocritical Democrats who don't believe in nothing, in anything. They don't believe in anything. They just believe in party and defending their progressivism, whatever you want to call it. You know, these Democrats that I was saying today, this new progressive movement, this liberal movement that's all under that Democrat tent. Bernie Sanders, a Democrat socialist. All of these people under the tent are going to burn your tent down because, look, you have to be insane to want socialism. Look at Venezuela, right? And then you have all these anti-Semites. You look at the person who shot at the synagogue. They had the same beliefs as Ilhan Omar, right? You look at the person in Charlottesville, the organizers of Charlottesville that everybody tried to blame on the Republicans, right? You look at that guy, he's a socialist, and he actually was one of the leaders of the Occupy Wall Street movement. Yeah, the Democrats won't tell you this. He's a socialist from the Occupy Wall Street movement that is directly under a progressive liberal way of thinking. So that falls under the Democrat tent. But they're trying to stick it to everybody else, right? You have people all the time reminding me, right? They go, "Oh, you say Democrats hate, but how about Charlottesville? How about that one person in Charlottesville?" And I try to educate Democrats. That guy in Charlottesville was a nut, right? Who was responding to other abusive people, the Antifa people, who had attacked him. He got in his car. He made a horrible decision, right? That has nothing to do with me. Racist kills Antifa protester has nothing to do with me. And like I said, the organizer of that, a Occupy Wall Street socialist. Sounds more like a Democrat issue than the synagogue being shot up. He happens to have the same beliefs as Representative Ilhan Omar. Doesn't sound like my issue. Sounds like your issue. Right? You look at most of the Democrats I know aren't pro-Israel. Right? They take the Palestinian side. Sounds more like your issue. You look at the growing movement of anti-Semitism, it's coming from the Democrats. And then the Democrats proved it by not passing that resolution. The Democrats proved that they are the party of hate. And then they pass a resolution saying that we should be against all biased, bigoted racism. Duh, we already know that, right? But this isn't about saying that we're against all hate. This was about Representative Ilhan Omar not taking responsibility for her anti-Semitic ways. You know, you want me to explain it to you? Okay. Black lives matter. No. All lives matter. No, you can't say all lives matter. We're talking about black lives. Remember that? Every time I said all lives matter, you can't say that. We're talking about black lives. Black lives matter. Well, we're talking about Israel. We're talking about the Jewish people. So why are we throwing in everything into the pot? This pot only holds Israel. That's what we're focused on. That's what the resolution was about. But I guess the Democrat Party doesn't care enough. Right? Because that's what was said when you didn't say Black Lives Matter. You don't care about the black people. This is about the black people and what they suffer. How about the Jewish people? How about Israel and what it has suffered and what it suffers daily, being the only democracy in the Middle East surrounded by everyone who hates them? But these are the Democrats. Nancy Pelosi didn't have the guts to stand up to 3 young congresswomen. Weak-kneed Nancy didn't have the guts to stand up to these young congresswomen, these less than 3 months in congresswomen. I have no respect for Nancy no more. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. You're listening to Breaking News. Breaking the News with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH-LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
20s, 50s, 100s, 100.
Yeah. So chop it up, wet work. Money still coming through the network. Prime time, gotta watch me. Put money on your head like DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS. Put money on your head like DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS. Put money on your head like DBS.
Got the phone call, everything's a go. She begging me to stay, but I need to go. On the other side, brothers got it cracking. Little dice game, but a lot of trapping. Made a quick stop at the corner store. My homie got a Dutch, but I needed more. Smell it in the air when I'm whipping. I'm like Bobby Flay in the kitchen. Still don't nothing move but the money. Get the work, wrap it up like a mummy. Ship it out of town like I'm FedEx. I go hard for the money, give me credit.
Paper route got the Brisbane neck. I need it up front, no disrespect. $1 million man, Ted DiBiase. Look around there, one of y'all trying to shop. Chop it up, wet work. Money still coming through the network.
All right. Listening up. Breaking News with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave. Let's get into it. This time flies. All right, so, I like to start with a couple of non-political stories. This way, don't scare you off right away. Let's get into it. And for those of you listening on the radio, if you want to be more involved, have more fun with my show, go on Facebook, go to your Facebook page, look up New Haven Independent, and you should find our page there. You could see us on Facebook Live right now. We're also broadcasting on WNHH Community Radio's Facebook page. We're on at WNHH-LP on Twitter. Same handle on Periscope. New Haven Independent on YouTube. So you can find us everywhere. And if you're nowhere close to a computer, you could either listen to us on the radio, 103.5 FM, or get the TuneIn app and look us up under WNHHLP, and you'll find us there. So I mean, you can find us everywhere. We're on every platform. But if you want to actually read the articles with me, meaning they're on the Facebook page right now, tune in to Facebook or Twitter or Periscope, and you'll see it there, YouTube, wherever. All right. If you want to comment, go to Facebook, New Haven Independence Facebook page. I'll try to answer any comments if I have the time. All right, let's get into it. I'm rambling now. All right. So, woman stunned by at-home DNA test. I literally started crying. Now, these DNA tests, I keep saying I had a Ancestry.com DNA test also done. And my breakdown is pretty interesting, right? So I think like 12% Native American, 33% African, like 47% Spanish, I think, or something like that. Anyway, so it's pretty interesting, and I keep saying I'm gonna actually show it one of these days. 5% Jewish, and so on. There's a huge breakdown of my DNA, but you know, some people are scared to take it because of what they will find out, you know, so or won't find out, something they thought they were or related to, and it turns out they're not. So this lady, she literally started crying, right? Let's keep going. Spit in a little tube, mail it in, and wait for the results. That's all you have to do when taking a gene test by the companies 23andMe and Ancestry DNA, right? So Kathy Canning actually did this, and she actually, I don't want to read the whole article, I already read it, but she found out that her father wasn't her father, that she's actually half Jamaican. Her mother had told her her skin complexion and stuff. It's because, like Elizabeth Warren, she's a little bit Indian. So, but what it turned out to be, her father was a Jamaican man, and her mother never told her or anything like that, and it turns out that she's half Jamaican, and she has siblings that look almost exactly like her, you know, and everything. So that's what made her cry, right? And her mother came clean. She had an affair with a Jamaican man, and then the father who raised her actually has raised her as his own her whole life. So this is an interesting story. It's on CBS News. Woman stunned at home by DNA test. Just look it up and you'll see it there. Now let's move on to the next one. This is also on CBS. Woman clawed by jaguar as Sue says it was a crazy accident. I spoke about this on Bab's show this morning. Yeah, a woman is recovering after a jaguar attacked her at a Wildlife World Zoo aquarium at Safari Park in Arizona. So, I'm not going to read this story either. I want to move these two stories along. So, she literally got over the concrete barrier, got close to the jaguar's cage to take a selfie, and the jaguar got a hold of her arm and started tearing into her arm. So, like I said on Bab's show this morning, let me give a little PSA. The barriers are meant to keep you out. Don't do that, I guess. I mean, use your brain. All right. So, I'm going to take a quick break again, and then I'll be back with the politics. All right. Let's get into it. You're listening to Breaking News with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave.
Yeah, evil man. Yeah, why you stealing from my people? You ain't never trip to see. You will never trip to eat. Evil man, yeah. Why you stealing from my people? You ain't never trip to see. You will never trip to eat. Another Jesus drew the parallel tale. The story really never ends well. Swarm down like a vulture. Judas bent us over and it came and f***ed us over. Now we selling agriculture. My island, falling down in a hole in silence. Peace and violence, keep us silence. Forever staying strong. Can't bring me down no longer. I know you really hate this song. Money has a soul, now we pay back loans. School shutting down, they don't even have a frown. Breaking laws, no American representative represented us it up. What happened, Uncle Sam? Fucking up your plans. Lo hago por mi pueblo, situación de deseo para hacer lo que puedo. Now tell me how this hook does it sound so good. Evil man, yeah. Why you stealing from my people? You ain't never trip to see. You will never trip to eat. Evil man, yeah. Why you stealing from my people? You ain't never trip to see. You will never trip to eat.
All right. You're listening to Breaking News on 103.5 FM, WNHLP. All right, so let me read a story that just came out on Yahoo News off my phone. Representative Ilhan Omar, whatever it is, on Monday expressed her appreciation for Fox News after the cable network condemned host Judge Jeanine Pirro for questioning whether Omar's Islamic religious belief stand in opposition to the U.S. Constitution. All right, so I guess Judge or host Jeanine Pirro made a comment that I guess her Islamic faith, her faith in Islam, goes against our Constitution. Stupid comment, right? But it's her comment, right? But you see how quick this happens, right? Judge Jeanine has to come out and Fox apologizing for her, all right? And Representative Amar or whatever her name is, Amar, is thankful that Fox took action. Now, isn't that interesting? Right? Because Amar is causing all of this controversy because she's so outspoken and she said plenty of stupid things, right? And let's say Nancy Pelosi is the CEO, Speaker of the House of Representatives. Did Nancy Pelosi reprimand Representative Ilhan Omar? I don't think so, right? See, this is the thing. This is the equivalence. But of course, Fox News has to run out and do this every time because Fox News hosts aren't allowed to expand on their opinions like the nuts at MSNBC and CNN, right? Because those guys, they say whatever they want. They call the president whatever names they want. They disrespect the president all the time. And nobody cares. Nobody cares. But if you used to say anything about Barack Hussein Obama, you had issues, no matter who you were. And actually, Ilhan Omar, Representative Ilhan Omar, actually, I don't have this story. I forgot it. I'm remembering it now. But she actually came out against Barack. Yeah. Maybe you guys want to switch sides now. Or the Democrats who were swiftly tucked into Obama's crevices. Maybe you guys want to switch sides now because she said that Barack is no better than Trump, was no better than Trump. He just was more polished. And you know how you guys hate some Trump. So you guys should reverse your opinion of Representative Amar. Right? All right. Let's get into the story. All right. This is from the New York Post. Ilhan Omar says her leftist squad is the new Tea Party movement. Right? Representative Ilhan Omar says there's little difference in terms of motivation if not politics between her and three other leftist freshman representatives who've dubbed themselves the Squad and the far right Tea Party. So she's saying there's no difference, right? And this is pretty cool that she's saying this, right? We look at the negative aspects of the Tea Party and not really at the part of them that spoke to the American people, that made them feel like there were people actively fighting for them, she said in an interview with Politico magazine, right? So what she's saying is correct, right? But it's pretty interesting that she's comparing herself to the Tea Party. But what the Tea Party was there to do was to disrupt. They were there to be disruptors, right? Because people are tired of business as usual. And this is exactly why Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Representative Tlaib, and Amar are doing now. That's why they're getting so much play, because they are disruptors. Now, their message of disruption, you could call into question. But because they're against status quo, people are attracted to their message. You look at Trump, who's the classic disruptor, right? He doesn't kowtow to the media, to anyone, to Congress, to donors. Donald Trump is there to disrupt, and that's why he won. People are tired of the status quo. Now, when you look at these disruptors, right? You have people who hate him. You see how many people, half of the country hates Trump. And then you have the other half who loves Trump, right? And the same thing's going to happen with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Squad, right? The thing is, at the end of it, you have to look at message. We get that we don't want status quo. But you look at Trump, right? He's a classic disruptor. He says what he wants. But unemployment at 3.8%, the lowest in forever, right? Lowest unemployment for blacks, lowest unemployment for Hispanics, lowest unemployment for Asians, lowest unemployment for women in 65 years. This is the thing. Trump is a disruptor whose policies are working. Okay? You look at it. You have to look at everything he's done, right? Prison reform. He's working with minority groups to have urban renewal zones and all of this stuff. So it's like Trump is working for the people, for all the people. Where the Democrats, what are the Democrats doing? Who are the Democrats fighting for? Right? You have a gun bill that passed the House of Representatives, right? Who I think 17 Democrats voted with the Republicans to make an amendment saying that if an illegal immigrant tries to buy a gun illegally, that ICE is automatically informed. And I think 17 Democrats voted with the Republicans on that. And Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the Democrats, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who said she was going to put him on a list, right? So the Democrats were upset about that because they want to put restrictions on guns on Americans, legal, law-abiding citizens. They want to restrict you, but they didn't want to restrict an illegal immigrant from buying a gun or from taking that application and notifying ICE so that they know an illegal immigrant is trying to buy a gun illegally. So who are the Democrats fighting for? They're not fighting for you because they want to restrict your Second Amendment right. Right? That's what the Democrats are doing. But they were fighting for illegal immigrants who went and tried to buy a gun illegally. Now, keep in mind, an illegal immigrant is getting his hands on a gun, you would think they would be against that. But no, not the Democrats. So who are the Democrats fighting for? Right? You look at the border. Right? So we have, right now, we're on pace to have 1 million illegals cross these borders. So that means 3 times the normal amount. Right? And the Democrats keep saying, not a crisis, not a crisis. Manufactured crisis. Some Democrats I even heard say, Trump is forcing these illegals to cross the border. Yeah, insane stuff. And then Democrats or liberals or whatever it is you want to be, that big tent of Democrats, liberals, progressives, Nazis, communists, that big tent of yours is okay with all of these people coming into the country without us knowing who they are. Some of them come in and go and buy a gun illegally, go in and fill out a form to buy a gun illegally. Democrats are for that. And they tell us that there's no crisis on the border. It's insane. We have sex trafficking, we have child trafficking, we have woman trafficking. We have people who actually are trafficked, who are trafficked to become slaves here in America. And the Democrats tell you that's not a crisis. Who are they fighting for? You? Because Nancy Pelosi won't meet with an angel family, right? So an angel family is a family in America who has had a loved one killed by an illegal. That could be by a gang member. That could be by an illegal drunk driver, an illegal alien drunk driver. It could be many things. Are the Democrats fighting for you? No. That's the problem with this stuff. The Democrats aren't on the American people's side, right? They basically want to get rid of America. You hear climate change and all of this stuff all the time. Well, let me tell you, population levels are part of a climate change problem, according to them, right? The growth in population affects the greenhouse gases, the CO2 release and everything, right? And what do the Democrats want to do? They want to bring in tons of people in here. Population levels climb. Doesn't that affect our quality of life according to these climate change people? This is the thing. You don't really know where the Democrats stand, right? It's like Ocasio-Cortez saying she's going to get rid of planes, vehicles and all this, and she takes taxis everywhere. She Ubers everywhere. Shouldn't she be on a bike pedaling everywhere? All right. I'm going to take a break, and then I'll be right back. You're listening to Breaking News on WNHHLP 103.5 FM. Your home for community radio. All right. Come on, work. Here we go.
Big Papa, Mr. Big Shot. Drop her off and treat it like a pit stop. OMG, ain't no guessing, I need big guap. Yanking in the club, check out the drip drop. Boss new, she go to work. Tip top, love the way she move that body, wine, y'all. Freaky, let's get it, won't love her. No kiki, still she bound to bust it open. Almost every time she see me, let me drown. It get wavy in your waters, yeah. You do it right, I just might call you back. She say it's better with no strings attached, yeah. Lil' shorty smart, she only speaking fact. I got the juice, I got the sauce, I got the swagger. You got some, then I got some, but I know my is better. I'm on the south side, little north, what's happening? I like that, who get 100 likes with no captions, yeah.
Awesome, she go to work, tip top. Love the way she move that body, wine, yeah. I'm awesome, she go to work, tip top. Love the way she move that body, wine, yeah.
Pull up, wreck, we full, yeah. No hands, love. That Yeah, lil' mama could work it. You know what you got. We link up the slide, but don't forget the top. OMG, now make it bounce. She don't like to miss a beat. It gotta count. She just push it. You got it. Look it. Too much cake for my health. Yet I love when she cooking. Shorty colder than ice. You should see when she melt. You should lower the belt. Focus set in the mood. When she want it, she get it.
Listening to Breaking News with Harry, aka The Brave. Let's get into it because my time is flying. All right, New York Post. Bill Maher thinks Ilhan Omar might be anti-Semitic. This is interesting. I haven't read the article, but Bill Maher, I can remember a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, he was defending her. What's wrong with what she says, right? And look, I totally agree, right? If Ilhan Omar wants to be anti-Semitic, she wants to be bigoted, that's fine. But then you can't judge people with standards you won't apply to her. That's the problem. I'm all for free speech. Even if free speech means hate speech. As long as you don't have a double standard. That's my thing. All right, let's read the article. Even Bill Maher now thinks that Ilhan Omar might be anti-Semitic. The unabashedly politically incorrect television host had previously defended controversial freshman congresswoman, but on Friday night he began to waver. First of all, I'm a free speech person. Me too. I believe you're allowed to criticize Israel without being an anti-Semite, Maher said. I agree with that too. I agree with that. I criticize everybody. I don't care who, or well, I shouldn't say who. I shouldn't care. I don't care where you come from. I don't care the color of your skin. I don't care. You know, like Martin said, like MLK said, judge them by the content of their character, not by color. Come on, people. You're better than that. Having said that, I've read some of her other tweets. She might be, I don't know what her thoughts are on this. The Minnesota Democrat, a Somali American Muslim, was criticized for embracing widely perceived anti-Jewish tropes about loyalty and an obsession with money in a series of recent tweets. Last month, Maher had questioned why Omar's tweets were being seen as anti-Semitic, saying he's saying she may be anti-Semitic. But if I criticize Saudi Arabia, that doesn't mean I'm Islamophobe. Okay, I'm an Islamophobe. See, what he's doing is he's mixing, he's conflating both things, right? So he's saying, yeah, she might be anti-Semitic. But if I criticize, yeah, we get that you're a free speech person and you think you don't hate anybody, Bill. We get that, because this guy criticizes everybody, even the mentally ill. He laughs at them and everything, and he gets away with it because he's a comedian. You know, so it's like I get to criticize everybody. I get it, but you can't have a double standard. You can't have a double standard. If you let Bill Maher get away with it, you have to let every other comedian get away with it. Every comedian, because Bill Maher's used the N-word. And no consequences. That's the problem. Let me keep going because time is short. The Jerusalem Post. Why is a known racist backing Somalian-born Ilhan Omar? Well, this is an interesting story, and I got a couple of articles on this. Right? Because David Duke, we all know who David Duke is in America, right? Because if you don't know, then you're racist for not knowing what his platform is. No, wait. We know he's racist. Everybody knows David Duke is a racist, right? A white supremacist, a Klansman, even. A former Klansman, I think. But if you don't know his platform, you're racist. That's why the Democrats try to do with Trump. Anyway, but here goes the Jerusalem Post. Duke tweeted, Ilhan Omar is now the most important member of the U.S. Congress. Right? So, David Duke is coming to the defense of Representative Ilhan Omar. Right? So, tell me, does that mean that because David Duke is for her, does that mean we all have to be against her? Is that how the Democrat rules are? I want to know what the rules are. Because if David Duke was for Trump, it meant that Trump was racist. Now that David Duke is for Representative Ilhan Omar, does that make her racist? And does that mean we all have to be against her? I need to understand the rules because I know it gets complicated for Democrats. Oh, I forgot. David Duke is actually under their tent also because he believes like Ilhan Omar. He believes just like her. He believes like the guy in Charlottesville. He also believes like the guy who shot up the synagogue. All of that is under the Democrat tent. It's the Democrats who are anti-Semitic. They're the racists. They're the bigots. Just ask Nancy Pelosi. She couldn't actually do a resolution against Representative Omar. Why not? It all falls under the Democrat tent now, as far as I'm concerned. The Democrats are the evil party. Now, in order to make their tent bigger, they are allowing anti-Semites, racists. Look at David Duke is a Democrat. Didn't he run as a Democrat? I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe he ran as a Republican. But he's a Democrat now. He's for Representative Omar. Pretty interesting. Okay. Washington Examiner. If Ilhan Omar were a Republican, the media would be demanding she address her endorsement by David Duke. True. I want to see all the video clips of the mics in her face asking her why she supports David Duke. And why does David Duke support her? Very true. This is the Washington Examiner. Let's move on. My time is running out. Former KKK Grand Wizard David Duke heaps praise on Representative Ilhan Omar. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that David Duke is now a supporter of Ilhan Omar? What does that make her? What does that make you for defending her? Are you a David Duke supporter too? What is it? 7 degrees of separation from you guys? You are a David Duke supporter. You are a hateful Democrat. And that's not even getting into the fact that the KKK was birthed under the Democrats. Okay. Let's see what else I got here. By the way, you're listening to Breaking News with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. Let's see. Ilhan Omar's tweet revealed core truths about anti-Semitism in America. No. Anti-Semitism in the Democrat Party. This is Vox. This is a Vox story, right? Yep. Now, anti-Semitism in America, half of America, the Democrat Party, that big tent party that has the liberals, the progressives, the Klansmen, and so on. The communists, the socialists, that big tent Democrat Party who wants to bring Venezuela to America, who are practicing the same policies that Hitler started his Nazi organization with. Go and look at your history. The Nazi Party stood for basically the same thing the Democrat Party stands today. Tribalism. All right, let's keep going. They're going to ask me when I leave here, why you scream so much on the radio? Okay, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez praises Ilhan Omar as one of the most effective voices in politics. Of course. You see how effective she is? Monday, there was a resolution condemning her. By Friday, she's voting for that same resolution with a smile on her face because it didn't mention her. She's an effective anti-Semite. All right, let's get to another story. Democrats' anti-Trump tax cut talking point just collapsed. Tax refunds are up this year. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, we were talking about, oh my God, people's taxes, their tax refund checks are less. Never mind that all of these people reporting that weren't telling you that you were actually getting more of your money throughout the year. You were getting way more money throughout the year, and then at the end of the year, your tax return was less. Now, you have to decide for yourself. The take-home pay that Trump was giving you back so that you could actually support yourself throughout the year. Did you not like that? Then go to your human resources manager or whoever it is, your payroll person, and tell them to take more money out your paycheck that you want to give the government a loan. You want to give the government an interest-free loan, and you'll get it back tax time. You'll get it back tax time. Don't worry. Take this money, interest-free, and just give it back to me around April. That's what the Democrats were doing. I mean, that's what the story that has been sold out there, that we were getting less income tax returns. But the truth is, income tax checks are up. The IRS has released new data about tax filing season that has put weeks of overhyped media stories to rest. Compared to last year, refunds are up now 1.3% on average. Many politicians were quick to jump to conclusions about how tax refund data had proven that the recent tax cut law was a bad idea, which is a politician being a politician lying to you, because it wasn't that you were getting less money. You were getting less money on your income tax return check. But throughout the year, you were getting more money. And that's why they failed to tell you, or intentionally failed to tell you, so that you would think that somehow Trump was taking money from you. All right, let's move on. Ocasio-Cortez. In the U.S., if you don't have a job, you are left to die. No, let's see. That would be Venezuela. Even if you have a job, you're left to die. Let's see. Move on. That's a Michael Cohen case. I don't care. Oh, the 2020. I'm not going to get into reparations. I don't have any time. I was going to get into that story about reparations. That's a good one. That takes about a half hour to get into. Let's keep going on these stories. You're listening to Breaking News with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave. Covington Catholic student's attorney, CNN, will be sued next week for $250 million. Now, keep in mind, this guy, this young kid, Nicholas Sandman, who was actually almost crucified for wearing a MAGA hat, He was just tortured in the media. Stuff said about him, horrible stuff said about a 16-year-old kid wearing a red MAGA hat who didn't say a word. But we want to disregard anything Representative Ilhan Omar says, right? A young teenager can't wear a hat because that's racist. Ilhan Omar making anti-Semitic statements. Who cares, right? The Democrats don't care about that. They care more about that red hat that they called the new Klans hood. All right. I got to get out of here. You've been listening to Breaking News with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
I'm a bad man.
So you're a philosopher?
Yes. 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 I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
All right, people, got to get out of here.
Deeply. I think very deeply.
See ya.
In about 4 seconds, a teacher will begin to speak.